Hello, everybody, and welcome to Krystal and Courtney's Career Chat. Hi. My name is Courtney Ball. I am the CEO and founder of CMP Professional Development Agency.
Hi, I am Krystal Aaron, the CFO of the CMB Professional Development Agency. Today we have the lovely Ari Takata-Vasquez with us. Hi, Ari.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Good. We're so glad to have you here. We have a few questions here and a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. So before we jump into our questions and interviewing Ari, I want to tell you a little bit about CMB. CMB is a nonprofit organization committed to providing an avenue for millennial women of color to network, learn, and succeed. We actually have our first signature program coming up on October 8th. It's called Color Me Beautiful. It's a networking event for college and career women. And one reason we have Ari on our show today is because Ari will be hosting the event in her beautiful, wonderful, happening, super chic store in downtown Oakland. So, with that being said, let's chat with Ari. Hi again, Ari. Ari was actually just on the East Coast here in New York, and I believe you were at Fashion Week. Tell us about your experience here.
Yeah, I was in New York for a whole week actually, which is a long time to be away from home, but I love New York. I love visiting. But Fashion Week was great. It was really exciting to see how well orchestrated all of these events were. A lot of people are really pushing the bounds with their material choices also. I saw a lot of scuba as a trend, and then a lot more things that are almost more formal and like architectural, which was really interesting to see. So yeah, I really enjoyed Fashion Week. It was my first time.
All right, did you say scuba?
Yeah, like the material that you would wear, like a neoprene sort of full body suit thing. Yeah, it was really interesting.
So can you take me next year?
Yes, I'm bringing an entourage next year.
Yes.
We were trying to get to Krystal and I were chatting about any really cool trends for the fall. So now we know we need scuba.
Yes.
But was there anything else you noticed that's going to be really hot for the fall that we need?
I think as like a trending color, like sort of a powder blue was pretty popular. Because it was for, it's spring summer 16, so that was like something I see coming into the zone.
Cool. I like that color. Me too. So I'll get that. Okay. So our first question for you, because we kind of hinted at it, but what is your current job? What do you do? What's your 9 to 5?
So it's not a 9 to 5, it's more of a 24/7. But so I am the owner of Viscera. It's a small boutique in downtown Oakland that has American-made clothing and 3D printed jewelry. And so I wear a lot of hats with that. So while I'm the owner, I'm also, the designer, the graphic artist, the cleaning person, the merchandiser. So I pretty much do everything for the shop. I hired my first employee though, so now I can pass off a little bit of the work.
Congratulations! That's huge.
Yeah, it's a big step, and she's great. She's actually from Chicago via New York, so she lived in New York last.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
That is so cool. Life of the entrepreneur, though, wearing various hats. We definitely understand that struggle.
Yeah.
So, what is your academic background?
So my undergrad degree is actually in architecture, and then my master's is in city planning with a focus on urban design. So I went to USF with Courtney, and then I went to Berkeley for grad school. So nothing to do with retail, nothing to do with business at all, actually. So it's sort of a leap for me, but I'm learning so much in just the 9 months that the store has been open.
Yeah, so as I was prepping for this show, I was thinking, okay, so Ari and I met when we worked together back at USF, and I remember, obviously, you're super duper smart because you finished USF super fast and degree. I was wondering, at what point did you say, I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm definitely going to do this? Because you have a lot of options with your degrees, a lot of different.
Yeah, it's a big leap. So I didn't always think I would have like a business per se. A goal was to have my own design firm. That's something I always, like, that was the end goal there. so I didn't decide that it was going to be this kind of business until like June of last year, which is a big change. But
Which switch?
well, it's a long story, but so I had bought a short sale house like 3 years ago, and then sold. So I either had a choice to pay off all my student loans or to do a crazy project, and I chose the crazy project. Yeah, and so I wanted to do something. I wanted to do 3D printing because formally that form of manufacturing is actually changing the way that we produce everything. And jewelry seems like something that is, consumer friendly. There's not a lot of restrictions on, the form of jewelry because it is like decorative. And then I realized that like people aren't going to walk into a 3D printed jewelry store because no one knows what that means. And so, yeah. And so I decided that, I wanted to do clothing with it because actually before I went to USF, I had considered going into fashion school, but I just didn't think it would keep me quite as occupied. You know how I am, Courtney. I need to be busy. So yeah, I had always had an interest in fashion, but I don't know, it just kind of came together to have a store because I could design the interior, I can do all the graphics that come along with it. There's actually a lot of design work that comes along with having a boutique.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It sounds like a very demanding job, but also extremely rewarding and a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I still wait. I don't know, it feels surreal, sort of. I still feel like I'm a little bit on vacation, like I'm expecting to have to go back to my real job sometime.
See, I want to be living that life. That's right. Well, really.
So you talked a little bit about your architectural background. I have an accounting background. Courtney has like a small legal background. So, needing a specific major or degree to start their business? Because you mentioned that you already had your interest in fashion, but how do you feel about people who may not have a specific degree or background in the type of business they want to go into?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think the thing that I learned from school was how to learn. So, this time last year, I had no idea how to be a retail buyer, but I kind of just faked it till I made it. So I would go to the trade shows and watch how other buyers went about buying and just kind of imitated that, and then realized, how from imitating that, how I could come into my own sort of style and taste as a buyer. So I don't think you necessarily need to have a degree specifically in whatever you're going into, like architecture, city planning. It's not retail specific at all. But I think you need to know how to teach yourself new things. I think that's a big thing I learned, especially from grad school, because they don't give you a whole lot, and they just sort of expect that you figure out how to figure it out.
I totally agree with you on that. Learning on your own and being self-taught is so crucial, especially in entrepreneurship. I'm learning that more and more every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, something you said that stuck out to me as well, because I think us as women, specifically women of color, we're going into these spaces where, I don't know about you, Ari, or you, Krystal, if you feel like you have someone you can turn to and say, hey, you did exactly what I want to do, so let me follow those footsteps and do exactly what you did. We don't really have that per se. So we are going these non-traditional avenues to figure out how to get to the dreams that we want, the dreams that we want to conquer. And I think that's really, really cool. And when you said fake it till you make it, although, I mean, that's something people say when they're joking around, I totally agree with you. When I started I downloaded my domain. I did my little website, got a logo. It was not, and look what it's thrown into. And this is all us just, trial and error. And then also, like you said, I love going to graduate school because it taught me how to think. It taught me how to problem solve. And although I don't have a professional degree in business, I'm learning from my training in graduate school how to overcome different obstacles because I got the basics down.
Yeah, I actually, before I even had the storefront, I was really faking it till I made it. I actually like put together a photo shoot with like some of my own personal clothes, and we did a mini photo shoot, like printed out little 5x7 cards to give to people and be like, oh yes, this is Viscera. It's a new store in Oakland.
Girls, yes, yes, I am with the movement.
And you so okay, my question for you, the next one is, have you encountered, kind of along those lines, have you encountered any obstacles while running your business? And I know that's a really broad question, but have you encountered any unique obstacles to your journey that you've had to overcome? Or what would you say is the biggest hurdle to get across as an entrepreneur thus far?
I would say, so I think there's a couple. So I think in terms of like situation, being in Oakland is actually a really hard place to have a business. I love it. I love it to death. And I think everyone who opens a business in Oakland does, but it's definitely not a place that's super business friendly. You know, with the protests and all of that, I actually had my doors graffitied before I even opened. Yeah, it was, I mean, it's part of the city, right? And it was just coincidental. I mean, this is just like an anecdote of like how the business started. It was so crazy. So there was the biggest storm that we had in the Bay Area in something like 20 or 30 years in December. Yeah, it was insane. So there's a skylight in my store, and the skylight blew off, and it was literally raining inside my store. I like walked in that day. My painters were supposed to be doing, like the walls were supposed to get started that day. I had just put down new flooring with stain, and everything was wet. And so it was one of those like make or break moments. I walked in the door, saw it literally raining in my store, and I was like, take a deep breath, like feel sad for half a second, and then you're gonna fix this. So we got on it. Like, okay, you can cry inside a little bit, and then after that you need to come up with a game plan. So that was, I think, probably the hardest part of opening the store is just the unknown. You know, things like that just happen. Like there's no way I could have planned for the biggest rainstorm in decades. But it's just, yeah, so that was sort of the biggest hurdle I've come across so far, but it was good. It was early on, so now everything else seems easy. So I think in terms of like situation, that's been the hardest, but in terms of being my own, like having my own business, the hardest thing is actually remembering that I still, like, this is still a job. Like, I still need to, like, I don't have to answer to anyone, but I still need to answer to myself. So some days I just really don't feel like going to the store, but I have to be there. It's just staying motivated and, like, you know, even if I don't feel like doing a whole inventory, it's just doing, like, maybe a little piece of what I need to get done that day, because there's always a growing to-do list, so I need to constantly be chipping away at it. So that's probably the biggest obstacle is myself, is like not wanting to get out of bed.
I know that feeling. I don't work for myself.
Wow, that is a crazy struggle. I could not even imagine walking into my own store and having it be raining. Like, that sounds like a cartoon. For real. It's so great that you're able to get through something like that. And I mean, as entrepreneurs and as women, we all definitely have the struggles and obstacles that we have to face. So you mentioned keeping motivated and all of that. Do you have a mentor or somebody that you can look to help you through tough times like that?
You know, I don't know if I have a mentor per se. So before I started the business, or I guess even in the first few months, I made a point to meet all the other retail business owners in downtown. Just like take them out for coffee and like ask them, what would you tell yourself year one of your business? And so that's actually been super helpful, you know, being able to approach people who have been through what I'm going through, and it makes it sound like it's a support group, but it's helpful to actually ask them, like, if you could talk to yourself 3 or 4 years ago, what would you have changed about starting your business? So that's been really helpful. And my accountant, actually, like, he's not a mentor per se, but he's like, he like changes my decision making. He's always very calm, so I like going to talk to him because I'll be kind of stressed out, and he'll just be like, okay, well, like, let's do the numbers here. You could maybe think about doing this. And he, like, literally just zens me back to zero. So my best mentor.
This sounds so familiar. And I can have craziest reaction. Krystal's just like, this is what we can do. And this is what we won't do. Okay? And she figures it out.
No, yeah, we need that. I definitely need that.
I just totally lost my train of thought. I was going to ask, how brave of that was you to go to all the business owners and ask them for advice? That's so cool, and it's such an awesome way to build community, like as a young entrepreneur in the area.
Yeah, actually, they're all really receptive to it. Like, that's the thing I love about Oakland. So while, like, I have to deal with the protests and riots, I literally just emailed these business owners, and they're like, yeah, sure, let's get coffee next week or something. So they're all very open, and we all realize, like, being in Oakland is not the easiest place to have a business, so we all kind of band together, and I actually started a retail group for downtown Oakland. There wasn't one, which is crazy. So yeah, I started a retail group. We've had 2 meetings so far, and we're kind of coming up with a retail map, and then we have a bunch of other things coming down the pipeline, like a shopping crawl. So yeah, that's the thing I love about Oakland. Everyone's super, super friendly, and we all really band together.
Nice. And so, kind of going back to what you said a couple minutes ago, is there any other tip would give? Is that my computer? Sorry, I kind of hear it crack.
Oh.
Okay, that's better. What advice would you give to your first year? So think back to your first year of college. You're super ambitious, and you were super ambitious. What would you tell yourself? Because I also think your first year of college, you didn't think that you would be where you are right now. What advice would you give to your first year self about being successful?
I still have to tell myself this, is to enjoy it. Like, slow down a little bit. Like, I'm still in my first year of the business, and I'm so, like, overly ambitious sometimes that I forget, like, I don't have a boss anymore. I literally don't have a boss. Like, that's awesome. I should wake up every morning and be like, yes, I am my own boss. But yeah, I would just probably I would probably tell my younger self, first year of college, just to, like, slow down a little bit. Like, don't be so worried about growing up or, like, getting through school as fast. Like, I would probably just tell myself, enjoy the path, and it's not all just the ends.
Yeah, I would say the same advice to my first year self, because I don't know if you two would agree, but I think while going to USF, going to a school like that, young woman, 1 year ambition, once I get through college, so you want to hurry up and get money. So it's that financial burden. Doesn't practice about school for a while. In all actuality, I still got loans for a really long time. I would advice as well. I'm having some technical issues.
Oh.
I turn that down. I don't know if clearly.
You're a little bit cutting. You're cutting out a little bit.
Okay. I don't know what is screen here because I want to look at your website.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna. Can y'all see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Sorry. Can you see it now?
No, I see Ari's beautiful face though. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, it's a slider. Yeah, I'm the IT person also for my business.
I love your website. I love the logo. I think it just looks very chic and very clean and very professional. I love it.
Yeah, so we actually do all of our own graphics and photography. That's the thing that I love the most about having the shop.
What is some of your favorite products that I can show people while we're perusing your site?
I would say most of the jewelry is actually like I love all the jewelry because they're very different from anything that you'll see in typical jewelry stores. And then I think most of our accessories I'm really into.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the 3D printing? Or the 3D printed jewelry, sorry. Oh,
yeah, people really like those. So they actually come in a variety of materials, which most people don't realize about 3D printing. So I'll give you the elevator pitch of what I give people when they come into the store and they're not sure what 3D printing is. So basically, it's if you imagine taking any object and slicing it into 1,000 different slices, it's basically printing that outline or whatever that shape would be at that instant. So it's an additive method. If you've ever made like a coil pot in ceramic class, think of it that way, but like very, very much smaller. And so it allows for a lot of different forms, and it allows for a lot less labor to be used, because once we have the file, we can just reprint it and reprint it. And some of the shapes that we come up with would be really hard for a person to make by hand. So we really get to push the bounds with that.
Want to show?
So cool.
Okay, let me go show something else. Oh, that's a bracelet. That's so cool. These are so nice. So when we have our event at Ari's shop, you're definitely welcome to shop the entire time that you're there while you're networking. And also, okay, wait. There we go. I'm back. So also, everyone that registers for the event and attends will get 15% off for that weekend. So our event is October 8th at Viscera Studio on 1542 Broadway in Oakland, California. And if you are a registered attendee, you get 15% off your purchase for the weekend. So definitely check out her website, check out Ari, get connected with her on social media. Thank you so much, Ari, for coming on the show. I hope we can have you again, hopefully from the store. That'd be so cool. And we will be live streaming from the store on the 8th. So everyone will see us together again. Krystal, did you want to say anything else before we end this broadcast?
Just register for our event on October 8th in Oakland. We are on eventbrite.com, so you can find us there or through our website at thecmb.com. Definitely contact us if you have any questions, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and stay in touch. Thank you so, so much, Ari. We really appreciate your time.
No problem. It's fun.
Thank you. And again, like Krystal said, our website is www.thecolormeb.com. Go there to find that Eventbrite link and how to stay connected with us. And after we finish this show, I'll also upload a link so you can watch this again on YouTube since it was so entertaining. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.
Bye.